Hallelujah, listener. It is your Dove AP, and today I am met with
Timis.
Today we are gonna talk about what's that? The Red Army? No, but the
Trans Army.
Vanguard. I will be talking to Tamish about the zine, 1960s zine, Vanguard. We talk a little bit about God. We talk a little bit about SE.
X.
And we also talk about the perfidious
Sexuality.
So jump on in, listener.
I don't remember who released it or who was supposed to release it, but like they were looking at Kamala Harris's campaign reports, and it was talking about all the different points that she was talking about. Never was there any talk about Palestine or Gaza or the genocide or trans people or queer people at all in any of her campaigning.
A document that has been cleansed from anything that actually matters, to the point that you're like, oh, okay, it's just graft. Oh, it's just someone made a payday doing this. Mm-hmm. And that person wasn't me.
And that wasn't me.
And to that, I say, who's the real fool? And how is it not me who didn't swindle the Kamala Harris campaign and the DNC out of a chunk of the $1 billion that they raised in 2024?
Jesus Christ. I think that's what's the crazy part is that, like, even though there is so much money going into these campaigns, and I mean, like, we could talk about super PACs or we can talk about campaign trails or grassroots funding or whatever forms of it, you look at how lopsided it is. And, like, even talking to people who are in political zeitgeist or in politics nowadays, in a lot of interviews, you just see how, like, media trained everybody is and how difficult it is for people to actually talk about what's going on for fear of losing the company that they're working for, like losing money or losing viewership or losing these sorts of concepts that really don't mean anything when you're actually dealing on a day-to-day basis with these issues, especially with how we are dealing with it as a community now. You know, we are seeing so much of it and we feel like a lot of people are saying it, but in reality, it's like, it's all on our phones. It's all on our computers. It's all on TV or on the radio or on podcasts.
And what you see on your phone is your Dove AP, your host here of Dove Weather. You're watching your podcast app and you're like, oh, yes, another one, yes, another one, yes, another one, yes. And today I am joined by a person, a cataclysm, a gender fucked, as she might have said.
Mm-hmm.
Today I am met with an artist here in Chicago.
One of the bricks they threw at Stonewall, you know?
And one of the bricks that built this episode. Today I am joined by Timis.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Dove Weather.
Happy to be here, AP. Thank you for having me.
Today I brought you to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Zines.
We love a zine.
Keep the mag to the mile, because today we're only talking about scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to say that we're going to talk about Vanguard, which is a scene, an underground scene from the 1960s, because today we're covering the 60s part of our Queerdos miniseries. And Vanguard is from San Francisco, specifically the Tenderloin district of San Francisco, which is what we know the homosexual home, the gay domicile, the queer casa of many people and many movements. So today we're going to talk about Vanguard and what it is, and specifically 2 issues that we read. And we're also going to talk about the feelings that were brought up, because we're still talking about the Queerdos miniseries, where we talk about being gay and being anti-commodification of being gay. So Tamish,
Yes.
I brought you on. I brought you on because you are a great figure to talk about two things.
Number one.
Being a little gay and being spiritual.
Of course.
So let's jump into it.
Right.
Part of Vanguard number 8 is an article about sex. You pro-sex or anti-sex or sex neutral?
I have been, well, I guess it's kind of falling in between. I have bouts of, I would say the majority of the time, I have bouts of demisexuality. So I spend a lot of time trying to get to know people, spending time with them, building relationship, maybe in a more platonic manner. And then as time progresses, I'm able to gain a more romantic or sexual attraction to them. Sometimes, though, especially when I'm dealing with a lot of stress in my life, or if I have been going through maybe some bouts of gender dysphoria, I was firmly in the asexual party. I was not I'm very sex neutral when it comes to, in general, like play or kink or anything like that. I find it to be super interesting and a super important part of our culture, and kind of what, sadly, defines.
You're saying
yes,
there should be kink at Pride.
There should be kink at Pride. Absolutely. I think having the little hoochie daddy shorts on is necessary, even if...
Wear your holsters, little gay boy.
Like, wear your leather straps, do everything that you need to feel like yourself. I myself don't find sex to be defining for me as a person, but at the same time, it's something that I enjoy. It's something that I like with the right people, and I can, actively take part in it, and I could do a good job. I've got reviews, and I've got people saying that I put in my work. And
your Google Maps
yes.
Reviews are like immaculate.
Oh my God, yeah. Field
You're
is
like
going crazy for me.
4.3, sure. But like that's because anyone could leave a review.
Everyone left a review. That's the biggest thing. I've got like 1,000. No, I'm joking.
Is she ran through? Or does she just have a very common name that people mistake and therefore leave the wrong review in the wrong place?
I'm not ran through. I am a pillar of the community.
So this article in issue number 8 is an interesting one. It is written by a clergy member, and it is called... If you are interested, this issue is linked below. It is called Sex Within the Created Order. What is this article about?
I mean, like, right off rip, it's destigmatizing sex. I think the biggest thing that we have to deal with in a evangelical Christianized country, especially in 2026, is the stigmatization of sex, queer people, and anything that is outside of the normal zeitgeist of whatever American Christian experience you're supposed to have. I really dig what this article is saying, not only because it's talking about it maybe in a more personal way from this specific clergy member, but it's also referencing the Bible. And it's referencing how natural and how normal and how regular and mundane, honestly, sex is. It is something that we're not the only ones who have sex. You know what I mean? Every single creature, that's how we are able to tell if something's alive or not. Like, if it is having sex or if it is replicating or reproducing in that way. So, like, it is actually the foundation for what makes life. And, I mean, not to be philosophical, but, like, if it's that widespread across everything, it is pretty normal. But the problem is that in a Christianized evangelical country that we are in the empire that we live in, it is so stigmatized because it is used as a form of control.
The control of who, the control of what is the real question. But before we get into that, I like what you said. It's neutral. This guy, Reverend Kwan, he hits on that. He says that it is part of natural order. He says that there's no law or rules that are built around sex in the Bible.
Absolutely. I mean, like,
which feels alien for us in 2026 to hear. It feels alien to be like, there's no rules found in the Bible about sex. There's no rules about hitting it from the back on Tuesdays.
No, it's actually encouraged. No, you have, what's the crazy part is you have, the guy who made cornflakes?
Yeah.
We have Mr. Kellogg to blame for anti-sex and a lot of this, like, in evangelical Christianization, like, the anti-sex stance and how it's dirty and how you shouldn't be doing it and all that kind of stuff. Mr. Kellogg invented cornflakes, yes. Do you know why he invented cornflakes?
Are you asking me why Michigan's very own Mr. Kellogg invented cornflakes? Well, look, let me tell you why. It's for me to have a good time in the morning.
You thought.
In or out of the bed, am I right? Oh my God.
Mr. Kellogg invented cornflakes because he thought that by giving kids less sugary breakfast, they would masturbate less. He was also the person to push for legislation and to push a lot of church members and clergy members and church owners. I'll say owners here because that's what it is. He was pushing them to circumcise children because genital mutilation, I guess, will stop masturbation and make you a good little Christian.
That's so weird because every time I take a crunch out of a cornflake, I'm like,
Gets you going,
I get stiff, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta take a 2-minute break.
Gotta slow down. These cornflakes are making me hot and bothered in the morning. Like, oh my God.
I like how he says it's just a thing.
Yes.
There's a neutrality to it.
I mean, like, there is nothing bad or dirty or perverted about it. It is simply good.
It's simply good.
I mean, like, if God told you to do it, reproduce and be fruitful, multiply, everything like that, and you're following God's word, I mean, like, that makes fucking a good thing.
God said, where are the poppers?
Where are the poppers? Let me spread them. Like, take that snake and put it up your ass. Don't eat the apple.
No. Or put the apple up there too.
Or put the apple up there too. You're not eating it.
Don't eat it afterwards.
Just don't eat it afterwards.
God said no scat play.
Oh God.
And like I just like that he's like, it's neutral. There's no rules about it. You're just supposed to kind of get sticky with your partner. And then he says it in a very interesting way. He says that you need to relax and stop feeling guilt about our sexual activities, thoughts, desires. And I mean this, whether those activities and thoughts are heterosexual, homosexual, or autosexual. So Reverend Kwan is already in conflict with Kellogg.
Absolutely.
Because Reverend Kwan is like, you could eat the cornflakes and then bust a thick rope.
As you should. It's your God-given. God expects you to eat the cornflakes and bust a rope.
But then that Reverend Kwan is also like, and if it happens to be with a fella, then that's just a good time.
And that's just a good time. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, like, it also goes into that whole concept of, like, when you have destigmatized sex, when you have the knowledge, the understanding that it is just something natural and something that you can do, it becomes, I think it is in this article, he talks about it being fun, but also about it being kind of silly. It is a form of play, just as much as, like, going out to the movies with your friends or going out on a dinner date or going to the beach or something like that. It is an activity for us to partake in that is, we're equipped for it. We have the parts for it. So we might as well do it if we want to. And I think that's something that I, as someone who is asexual and demisexual, kind of have struggled with throughout my life. I think there's always been an expectation for me to have fun constantly or always look forward to having sex because, oh God, it's so much fun. It's like riding a roller coaster.
You turn 18, you're supposed to, stop being a virgin.
Exactly.
You're in college, you're supposed to be getting laid.
I mean, truth be told, I was a virgin before college. I think it was 17, so not far off. I mean, like, I had a plethora of partners, mostly girlfriends, and many a times I would have, the classic case of, my bro friend drops me off and then he starts touching his dick in the car, and I'm like, I'm good, but
You're like,
it could have been very
Reverend
differently.
Kwan is okay with you doing that,
I
but I am not.
I'm
Reverend
not right
Kwan.
now. I'm not about it right now. Thank you for the ride, but I think I'm just gonna go inside and play Minecraft.
That's autosexuality right there.
That it can be very difficult, not per se to trust people, but to enjoy the thing that, for lack of a better term, you've had many different perspectives on, and you've had many different viewpoints and different situations come up because of sex. A lot of times because it's stigmatized. A lot of times because it is not fully communicated or thoroughly explained ahead of time. I'm also very neurodivergent, so in the autism fashion, so I need somebody to explain these things to me or have these discussions beforehand before I can feel comfortable. And that's why I love kink. Kink is great because that's all it is. It is just intense conversation and communication about what may or may not happen.
It's bringing the nerdy into sex, and to that I say, bleh.
Oh,
But as you were saying, like there's a pressure.
yes.
There seems to be a pressure, constant pressure, and I grew up in the 21st century. Okay, I'm a young diva,
Yeah.
and I know that pressure. I've seen that pressure. I've felt that pressure, and also I have, like Reverend Kwan says here, just kind of I see it as silly. Like, I don't think I've ever had a sexual experience where I didn't have like some silly thoughts around it either during or after.
Oh, the best sex is when you're laughing.
There was a time where I was bandying around Chicago, seeing people.
Right. You are also a pillar of the community.
I'm one of the 5 pillars of the community, yes. And like I partook in some activity, some digital activity with a woman.
Nice.
And after I was done, I was like, okay, well, I gotta wash my hands. I just told her that. I just told her, hey, give me a second. I gotta wash my hands.
Right.
And like, that's just silly. It's
Yeah,
just
like-
so like, is it maybe the most sexy thing to say? No. But it's also kind of like I'm the one with some residue in my fingers.
Yeah.
I wash my hands before I eat.
You wash them after you eat, I guess.
And that's right. And so like, yeah, it's silly.
Yes.
Even when I'm like, especially the queer hookups that I've had, they just feel sillier than like any of the like strictly heterosexual ones that I've had.
You see, that's also a huge thing about it, is that like, because we are queer and because we are able to meet each other in a way that feels, I guess more understanding and more accepting of each other. Like, there have been plenty of times when I've had sex with cis women, and the biggest issue that comes up is that, it doesn't look the same, or it doesn't feel right, or it has to be this certain way. But it is undiscussed, right? The gender norms play a huge role in how the sex should go, how the situation should play itself out, right? Like, even though I am a gender-fucky trans woman and I am AMAB, there is still the expectation that I have to be a top and I have to be a dom. And if I am not a top and I am not a dom, then people get really fucking confused. And that is the gender norms. That is the gender expectation of being somebody who is AMAB when I am stepping into this space that I have to play that role. And truthfully, when I was pretending to be a man, that was actually very comforting to me in a way, because I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew exactly the role that I would be playing in that situation. And now it's not that I don't know the situation. I talk to people about it. I'm very clear with them. I mean, like, especially in situations where somebody might be more kink-based but not so sexually activated. They just want to do the kinky stuff. They just like getting whipped. They just like having the burns. They just like getting electrocuted, or, whatever other.
They just like starting the lawnmower and cutting some grass.
Exactly. They like providing the service.
Or whatever other perverted bullshit.
No, but that's so real. That's so real. I know so many asexual people who have relationships like queer platonic friends, or they have doms, or they have mistresses, or whatever it may be, where they just do acts of services. They'll go up and they'll show up to their apartment and, you know, whether it be because of their past experiences or just their overall tendencies throughout their life, they like providing a service, or they like giving a gift, or they like using their love languages as a way to play into the kink.
I love the idea of being like, yeah, I'm doming a handful of people and I'm sorry, I really can't hang out this weekend. One of them's coming over to do my laundry.
Literally,
so I'm sorry, and you know, like I have to be there. You know?
Yeah, no, but that's so real.
I can't hang out next weekend either because I have just like I have a sub that's gonna come over, do my twists, and also cut my nails and do my toenails too. So
Absolutely.
like, I just love that idea. I mean, if you could be a fin dom, yeah, you could be a Medi Petty sub.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's, and I mean, like, yeah, this puppy boy wants me to hang out with him and watch House for, 3 hours. Yeah, I'll go.
Okay,
I
that's
love
just
House.
a good time.
That's just a good time.
That's
Yeah,
just a
I'll
good
hang out
time.
with you.
Kinkless.
Kinkless, but it is kink.
So, like, this article isn't even an article that was written for Vanguard. It was just republished in Vanguard. And this was actually written for Theology Today, and it was released on October 1965.
Wow.
So, by no means is this Reverend Kwan interested in what Vanguard is doing. They might not even know. But what is happening is a set of queers are looking at writings and saying this speaks to not just who I am as a queer, but the liberation I want to see in all people. And to that, I say, this is a revolutionary text.
Yes, I agree.
There is, like, just even reducing sex to an activity that people do together is revolutionary in 2026.
And that's the crazy part too, is that, like, because even though we live in a Christian evangelical empire, there is this feeling of hypersexualization constantly in our media, in our day-to-day lives,
Even in the
expectations,
politicians.
and even in the politicians.
This is what I mean.
Trump's a bottom.
No, not even that. Not even that. I'm talking about this Mar-a-Lago face that people talk about. This highly drag queenized presentation that major conservative figures like Kristi Noem got all these procedures to look more quote unquote feminine, but in the eyes of the fucked up creatures that live in DC.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that her husband was doing the same thing. He was bimbofying himself.
Oh yeah.
The bimbofication of men in the United States is also something that is rarely talked about. And I think it is because there are so many closeted men that are maybe in a past generation. I mean, like, we had so many wars. The boys were always around each other. They could do what they needed to. But now everything is so surveyed. Everything is so kept on balance. And everything is so... the expectation to be politically correct is actually the norm. Everybody wants to be right in the ways and say the right things instead of actually focusing on, like, well, what do I actually want? Which is really sad. And I think it's because we have so many different viewpoints and we have so much consuming all this information and all of these different ideologies that, like, everybody seems to have opinion on everything, when in reality, y'all really haven't thought about this. Y'all really haven't sat down with these issues and talked about it. You're just going along with whatever the people who are in your circle or who you try to be in the circle with are saying and are doing. And then in reality, like, Donald Trump is doing all this shit to trans people, and the reason he wears diapers is because of a trans woman.
Okay.
Do you know about that whole thing?
No, I honestly the gossipy side of politics is secondary to the
overall
genocide.
Yeah, I agree. It was in the Epstein files. You can look it up, but he got a tent pole shoved up his ass.
Okay.
And that's
a tent pole?
A tent pole.
A tent pole is so small.
Yeah, it's small and it's long. And then they kicked it up his you know what.
That's what pleasure are you even getting out of having your back walls kicked in by a little metal pole? It makes no sense.
It doesn't. But at the same time, there is such a vilification of sexual pleasure that I think a lot of super duper corrupt, high in society folks are hiding. Because they know that if they were to show this stuff blatantly, if they were to stand on business and say, hey, I don't fit the quota that society is expecting of me, they wouldn't be able to hold that power. They wouldn't be able to hold that over people. And even if this information comes out, I mean, like, you didn't know about it. A lot of people don't know about it. And there are so many conspiracy theories and expectations of, like, rather, there's so many conspiracy theories that the expectation is that, like, you shouldn't believe what you hear. There is so much information that we have to consume and parse through and use our critical thinking that, like, God forbid that somebody actually uses some critical thinking about these things. It can become very, very muddied. Like,
look, I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I see where you're going, and all I have to say to that is, like, there's clearly a mask that the conservatives are wearing, right?
Absolutely.
But that mask goes way deeper, way deeper than we could think of right now. And the reason why I describe this as revolutionary text is because I think about the position that sex has in our society right now. And sex is no longer an activity that people do together. It is this concept that almost this nirvana, this heaven, this afterlife, this Elysium fields that exist, that once you have it, or if you have it, or if you can have it consistently, your problems become mush. They become nothing. And so the mask is so big and so wide that the something that is natural, something that is neutral, something that exists purely as a biological concept to continue the species going has been removed from the material and put into the metaphysical, not for the sake of getting closer to God even, but for the sake of selling classes online for people to get laid.
Oh my God.
It's been conceptualized so much that sex is no longer an activity that people do together. It is a selling point in the back of a DVD.
Absolutely.
It is the selling point on a podcast that like 2 dudes or 3 dudes are talking about so they can be misogynistic in. It's a selling point for any loser online that's looking to make money, because people are not having as much down and dirty, sweaty, luscious fucking as they were before. So now it's a thing that you can sell a product on.
Yes.
And I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much that it is sex queerness. If queerness is just not being heterosexual, then sex in the United States in 2026 is just queer.
Yeah.
It's just legibly set as queer now. Because the heterosexuals, it feels like they've lost the plot in what this activity is. And especially the capitalists have used this to sell things. And I'm sick of it. We were watching this showcase earlier today this young people showcase of queer, like,
Teenagers.
self-made, like, plays and vignettes. In it, there was this like activity of Menosphere podcast.
Oh my god, that was the best one.
And it broke me. It broke me that this young person was understood the right-wing male conservative podcasting sphere so much that they can yap about it in this theater in Chicago in 2026, and it's perfectly legible to the audience.
Oh my god, it was like, and it was simple as swapping the genders and swapping the gender roles of the show, right? Instead of, manosphere style, but it was like, oh, these like talking shit about men instead, and being like, oh my god, they're such sluts, they just want attention, like they're doing all of this shit.
They're playing video games.
They're playing video games, and why are they in my Discord? Like, this is a space for the girls. Like, all of this, such funny quips. They were so sharp about it. And like, I think that also ties into, like, you're talking about sex is queer, right? But like, we can boil it back down to like, sex is about power, and queer sex is about sharing the power. When you are with somebody who is actually communicating with you, actually having a good time, like you said, it's silly, it's funny, it's play. But when you think about sex in a heterosexual form, you think about it like as obedience or expectation or responsibility. Like, oh, you're responsible to raise these children after we have sex or whatever. Like, this is the fun part, but then it just gets worse. When in reality, like, it was never about power for queer people. I think there are some predatory practices that can happen in queer circles, but I also think it's because those people aren't actually having queer sex. They're using sex for power. They're using it as a way to gain control over people. And I truthfully don't. It doesn't matter how lesbian you say you are. If you're using sex to control other people, it's not about sex anymore. It's about the level of control that you can have in a state where maybe you're not used to the more fluid or open concepts of gender or sexuality or expectation, right? Yeah, I mean, like, I am a furry in a way that is more outward presenting. I like wearing ears. Maybe I'd get a tail, but that's really not on my radar. Like, I want those ears that move or whatever, but it's more so gender-wise. I feel very it pronouns, and I think that's something that I've played with and kind of messed around with, but in reality, like, spending time with kinky, queer furries has shown me just how important it is and how important the communication is, right? When we're talking about different scenes or we're talking about different ways that we want to play or the ways that we want to interact, like, the options are endless. And it is like, this kind of document is so revolutionary because it boils down to, like, we're not taking the sex seriously. We're actually just playing around and being silly, and we're able to be silly because we're able to be upfront about these feelings and about our gender expression or our sexual expressions.
And I like that. So look, I really liked reading it, and it really showed me how much we've lost.
Yeah,
we've lost in the last 60 years of culture war. Rally around the family type shit, like, the moral majority type bullshit, the Joel Osteens of the world. Joel Osteen could never look at his congregation and be like, yeah, heterosexual sex, homosexual sex, or autosexual activity is okay with God. He could never say that.
He could never say that because his constituents don't like that.
But part of this is also some other interviews that I want to cover. Mm-hmm. One of them being one with a bisexual, just because it is so fun. Can you go to page 3? The one that looks like this?
Yes, I am here.
All right, so I just want to read a couple of things here just to show how much, like, things have changed, but things have also stayed the same.
Absolutely.
So this is an interview with a bisexual. So it reads like this. Vanguard says, well, would a man or a woman attract you equally?
Would Guy Straight or Lena Horne attract you equally? It's not like that at all. A chick who really balls is more erotic than, say, a professional virgin or a dedicated mother. I love that. That's so funny.
It's such a great line. And this guy's all about good lines. Vanguard goes on to say, well, what about the fellas? And Alan says,
it's really groovy to make a guy who swings. The anal canal is much tighter than most vaginas I know. Or maybe it's just my luck, but most of my male partners sought fewer plastic preliminaries than girls usually do. On the other hand, if you're a sentimentalist, that's swell. What I mean is that a fella doesn't require dinner and a show to put out. Whenever I meet a gay guy or another bisexual, we usually discuss each other's scene a while and leave. Simple. Within an hour, we're in bed embracing and feeling each other's flesh expanding. One other thing about the difference, and I know this doesn't seem fair, they're usually a lot cleaner than most girls. See, I'm like,
yeah, he's a little catty, but he's just like me for real.
Yeah, we know you put men on a pedestal. Yeah.
It's just funny. It's just, I could see myself having that conversation in 2026 because maybe I've had that conversation.
Absolutely. And that's another thing too, is that like, that's what I love about queerness. Whether or not we want to, stand out or be like, oh, we've changed or we've been different. Like, it always comes down to like, you are not original. You're not the first person to be queer, and you're not the first person to have these thoughts or be in this situation, right? Like, even in the 60s, it was like that. Today, it's like that. And any time in between, or even before that, these types of conversations, these types of people, our people, have been here. And queerness is just as tied into human experience as any other part of history.
Yeah, and like, even... like, we're talking about queerness here, but like, we already brought up Kellogg in his anti-masturbation bent. That still exists in the 21st century. That's just called the NoFap movement or the No Nut November.
Or the incel movement.
Exactly. It's just kind of like, it's the same thing. You're not original. You're not a special snowflake. You're a copy of a copy of a copy. In what you are, at the end of the day, it should just be a good time. You should just be like this bisexual guy being like, yeah, the anal canal is tighter than most vaginas.
The flesh expanding. Like, oh my God, get over yourself.
This guy is so funny.
He's so good. Shout out Alan.
He goes on to like talk more about it. Like, this is just a grade A, like, weapons grade guy.
Which is something that, like, I think for all it's worth, a lot of folks don't want to talk about that or find it to be distasteful. And really it's like, well, I mean, like, if you're going to be angry about something like this, what else makes you uncomfortable? I think there's a lot of queer people who are really focused on the optics rather than just accepting that, like, yeah, you may not like this person, but they are still part of your community. They are still somebody that you should support. And they're still somebody that, for lack of a better term, deserves to have that feeling and deserves to be able to say it in a way that, you shouldn't villainize them for it.
And I'm going to read a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because once again, I feel like we've lost something, but it's also like, it feels like this is just listening to Bob the Drag Queen.
Oh my God, no, I've heard this shit at Smart Bar. Like,
it's like right here. It's Alan says, I can really bring a guy to an insane orgastic desire for release by putting a little lubricant on my palm and then rotating it on the head of his penis. It's so matter of fact.
Yeah.
It loses its vulgarness. Like, he goes on to create like more and more of an imagery, and he's just like, he just talks about it openly. This is a real bisexual, not a gay man, but this is a real bisexual hours because he has like a way of just being like, yeah, it's Monday, I'm supposed to be giving a guy a reach around.
Absolutely.
It's like
Nothing's dirty about fellatio. Like, come on.
it's mundane to him.
Yes. Simply.
And I have seen people try to be this way, but it doesn't like hit the same way. And like here, let me read you another one.
Yep.
By this time he's climbing up the wall. He's on the peak orgasm. I'm inside, moving slowly. I may scratch lightly across his shoulders, down his chest, or along the side of his torso. Depends on the side is up. Or I may gather up his legs in my arms and really kiss deep. This double penetration is quite rewarding to men or women. And he uses the word penetration there, but he's not in the literal term, but in the way that he is like, sure, there is like penetrative intercourse happening, but he is like using other senses to provide a larger experience. Real bisexual shit.
That's the best sex, is when it's not just physical. It is maybe not everything, but it can be many different feelings. And that's also, I mean, like, very scientific or whatever. I am not. But I mean, that's probably why sex feels better when you are romantically involved with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, and I personally don't have that experience, but I know for many, many people, being romantically involved is kind of the only thing that allows them to be in those sexual positions or those sexual kind of mindsets.
Yeah. And it's an open mindset at that.
Absolutely.
An open mindset that like Vanguard kind of fails to like meet, because Vanguard goes on to say, you're kind of a satyr. And Alan responds with, no, I work all week. And he's like, it's like he punches out of work and punches into fucking.
And he clocks in. He clocks in for his 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours of fucking, and then he clocks out and he goes back to work. Like, it's just another aspect of his life. There is no stigmatization. What is it? Well, sure. Do you think we can print all this conversation? Like, even Vanguard is getting a little like, even they're catching themselves being like, can we air this? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. We can just talk about it, because it is so normalized, and he doesn't hold that stigma.
No, not at all. And he goes on to, Vanguard goes on to say, thank you for being so honest. You seem to be a very joyous person. And then Alan ends with, I am. You may be interested in knowing that I like to be femme sometimes too. However, good butches are very hard to find, it seems.
I'm screaming.
It's like he even at
I've
the
said
end.
that. I've said that. Fuck, dude. Like, yes, I agree, Alan. Good butches are very hard to find. Like, and I think that's also a huge hurdle that I have been dealing with as a non-medically transitioned trans woman. The expectations of gender norms and everything like that can be a little daunting, especially when I have been socially out and I've been able to talk to people and enjoy myself in those ways because of communication. But like, yeah, there is a level of, I guess, like, not confusion, but like wanting someone who maybe doesn't want me back. And that's just life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Those are, whether you're heterosexual or homosexual or, you know, autosexual or whatever, there's a level of, like in all of those states, outer sexual and autosexual people are totally valid. I love I love autosexual people. I'm like, you get hot by looking at yourself in the mirror. That's hot. That's honestly amazing. Like, you don't need anybody else. You just split into two. That's not how it works. But like, there is such a want to be, you know, if not perfectly within the zeitgeist, like there is a want to experience these things, whether it was in the 60s or nowadays, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we want to be, at least I want to be, putting my fingers in everybody.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Like, we're connecting deep with Alan here in a way that he probably likes.
Absolutely. Alan would love this shit. I want to talk to Alan if I could today. I hope he's still around.
It's also not, it feels like it's not common. Or it feels like it is being lost. It feels like I can't think of any person that is this open about who they are in my own life. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's just more about me than like the state of things, but it's quite something to have someone be this open to be like, yeah, pussy,
cock,
anal, whatever. It's all good. It's all good, and sometimes receiving is also good. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so, there's like an ambivalence to it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a horny ambivalence to it that Vanguard's just like, I can't even
comprehend that shit. Like, you're so horny, you just stand on business.
Look, I don't even think it's horny in the like 2026 sense.
No.
I think it's almost like a level of acceptance, self-acceptance that loses all sense of shame or burden. Mm-hmm. And he is living just the life that like Reverend Kwan talked about.
Yeah.
It's just a thing I do. I watch the Bears on Sunday, and on Monday I'm rubbing my palm on the dickhead.
Exactly. Like, this is just a par for the course. Mm-hmm. In the same way that, you know, other activities can be, you know, very normalized in our lives because that is what society expects us to do. Like sports, right? Like, men are expected to like sports. Women are expected to like being mothers or whatever, or like keeping a household, and men are expected to like to work or anything like that. If it's not sexuality, it is because of stringent gender roles that we find ourselves in this weird position. I know so many lesbians who are, for lack of a better term, unable to break away from those gender norms because they're so wrapped up in the outward side of it. They're worried about what other people are going to think if they say these kinds of things. And like, also, there is so much bisexual hate for some goddamn reason. I don't know if it's because they don't fit into that thing or because you wish you could be them. I think they just wish they could be them. I think it's jealousy at the end of the day, because Alan is a creature that I strive to be when it comes to thinking about sex, right? There needs to be this level of self-understanding where you're like, yeah, I can ball either way. I love a girl that balls. I love a guy that can take it. I want somebody who, like, I can be a little femme with, and I want a little butch. Like, that's my little dream.
Alan is in the cycle of samsara that is so close to reaching real enlightenment.
Absolutely.
That to me, someone who's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
And honestly doesn't want to be anywhere near that. I'm unable to be like this open. I'm unable to reach the heights that Alan can reach in 1967.
Word. And that's the crazy part too, is that this is not 2026. This is a magazine zine article. Like, this is something that was meant for a small community, the queer community, for a small hyper-specific community to consume, and even we're scratching our heads fucking 60 years later.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like, I almost think that if we were to write a publication to like self-print and self-distribute, and if we had collaborators, I think at a certain point we would be asked the question, is this something worth printing? And I would say Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's our magazine. It's our zine. We could do whatever we want. But I think about like legitimate publications. And the closest thing I can't like is them like the publication them publishing something like this? I don't know. Is
know.
Autostraddle publishing something like this? I don't know. Maybe Vice
Maybe.
may have in the past.
Yeah.
But like Vox.com isn't gonna do it.
And
The New Yorker isn't gonna do it. The New York Times isn't gonna do it. The Chicago Tribune isn't gonna do it. And like honestly, a reintroduction of bisexuality to this country could go a long way.
I think you should be the one to reintroduce them.
Well, if only bisexuals existed. They went
Get
extinct in
Christy
1960s.
Nome and her husband together and
Oh my god. Oh my!
Shoot a video.
Christy. I'll
post
forgive
it
you
on.
for the like.
She's in the cuck chair. You're fucking
I'm
his
going
giant
ham.
balloon titties.
Yes, I'm calling him Pig.
Yep, he'd love it. He'd love it.
Nah, I can't do that. I hate those.
You're too sweet.
Motherfuckers too much.
Oh no, you're too soft. No, I'm joking. I mean, like, I think that's something as well as just like being able to freely and easily move between these different things is one thing, but being able to talk about it in such a public way, in such a blatant way. I mean, like, it's a magazine, you know? So, like, he can have this interview and he knows that they're just going to put Alan, and there's a million different Allens. You're never going to be able to find that specific Alan. And even if you can just deny it and say, like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, my name's Alan, but I didn't put my last name or I didn't put my address or whatever. Like, I know you. Do you know those old newspaper articles where it's just like looking for like I am a 38-year-old
classified.
Yeah, classified. Like those sorts of things kind of fit into this concept too.
Yeah.
I feel like when people are so hungry for connection in that way that they're willing to literally break themselves down in a way that's like 38, butch, I ride a motorcycle, I have tattoos, and I will fuck the shit out of you. Looking for a pillow princess. Find me at this number.
You don't have to read me that hard. Speaking of reading,
right?
The other interview is the interview with a transsexual. And I told you this earlier. Saying that word almost feels like a slur to me.
What did you just call me?
So this interview is once again this sense that things have stayed the same.
Absolutely.
Because like this interview reads like any interview with someone who has never met a trans person.
Okay, before you start about this, I also love that they've put a Orthodox Christian seraphim or cherubim. I'm not quite sure. Especially because like Byzantine style art and everything like that. Like, I know you can't see this picture, but this is the most gender fucky looking creature in the goddamn world. Like, if you look at an angel, I would say my gender is angel or alien or something like that. Like, that is the it in my gender. If that makes any sense. Maybe not. Maybe you have to be trans about it.
It makes sense. I was assigned angel at birth.
Angel at birth. I am here to serve. All right. I am here to sing praise and glory.
I'm Ab.
Ab.
Oh yeah, Timis. Oh yeah. She's
bitch. Pray to
Ab.
me. Pray to me. Call upon me at your darkest hour. I will show up.
You and a sheep.
Me and a sheep.
It's just bat and Ab. I want to read a question here, and you tell me if you've ever heard this question.
Right.
Vanguard says, "Well, are you a man or a woman?"
Louise said it best. I am totally not one or the other. I am what the doctors call a psychic hermaphrodite, which is having aspects of both sexes. That's the first time I've heard that phrase, psychic hermaphrodite, which is crazy because I have always heard, I mean, like the closest thing that I've heard to that is like two-spirit in Native culture, Native American culture. But like, yes, abso-fucking-lutely, I am psychic. I am a psychic hermaphrodite. Like, maybe people will get their panties up in a bunch because I say that word. But like, that is truthfully how it feels. I feel so genderful and at the same time so genderless. Mm-hmm. Which is like, I think I've interacted with some other gender fucky trans women and trans masc folks and like trans men and trans femmes and everything like that. But like, I would say like this is maybe the minority. You know, a lot of folks who transition, from what I gather from the girlies, especially the girlies, there is a clear, like, I am trying to leave my masculinity and I'm heading towards femininity. Of course, there will always be aspects of masculinity within, you know, everybody's life. It doesn't matter if you're AMAB or AFAB. Like, there will always be aspects of the other gender. It's just how much do you want to embody those things, right? And I know so many trans women who are like, I don't want to embody masculinity at all. I want to step away from it. And I think that is, for most part, at least from what I've talked and what I've heard, that's the vast majority for people. They want to be a woman. In my case, I'm very much in the pool of like, I have always had these feelings of double gender, of being able to fit in either side very easily, kind of like a chameleon. I'd say it's like there's my femininity and my masculinity, and those bitches are always fighting. They're always throwing hands. They're always throwing plates at each other. They're yelling. They're getting angry. They're like, no, we got to do it like this. No, we got to do it like this. No, we got to do it like this. And sooner or later, my body is like, hey, guys. So we can keep bullshitting ourselves and doing this fighting back and forth. But I'm going through it right now because you guys can't decide. You can't make up your minds and work together. And I'm not saying you have to be one or the other. Neither of you have to win in this situation. We should come to a compromise so that the body itself can keep on living, right? Above all else, whatever gender I may or may not be, I still want to make sure that I feel good in my body. And that is actually the most important part.
And you see, beautiful answer, right? Because you are coming in from a trans perspective. You gave a real trans answer to a real transphobic question.
Yes.
And like, to me, it reads as transphobia.
It is.
Are you a man or a woman? And
I've heard that from family members and friends.
And to that I say, who the fuck are you?
No, for real. I'm like, what are you then? You're an expectation of femininity, or you're an expectation of masculinity. What are you actually?
You're assigned bitch at birth, I'll tell you.
Yeah, assigned fucking coward at birth. Speak your mind. Stand on business.
Assigned no spine at birth.
No, for real. And like, so much love to my other queer folks who are living their truth and being able to get through that. I don't know what the heteros are up to. I mean,
no
like,
clue either.
No fucking clue. And like,
I'm related to some of them.
There you go. And that's what's up. And that's what's up. I wish I was related to queer people. I think I am the only queer person in my family.
Well, I mean, that's why you gotta have some trans and queer family, found family.
Chosen family, absolutely.
Look, so many of these questions that Vanguard asks, I assume are just to like dispel myths. But they read as just silly bullshit. Like, Vanguard goes on to say, why don't you seek psychiatric help to adjust to manhood rather than attempt to become a female?
We tried that. Didn't work.
Louis says as much. Louis says, I've had about 10 years of psychiatric testing and consultation. Medical and psychiatric doctors now know that the mind cannot be changed when there is a condition that is this basic. That is, they cannot change a normal female into a male mentally. Which to me, I'm like, in 2026, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Maybe in 1967, maybe that wasn't as well known. Sure.
Yeah, they were doing phrenology still. It was still based in eugenics and Freud and all of that. when Freud was, when Freud was popular, that type of shit.
Freud is brought up in this issue, and it is not going to be brought up in this podcast episode. Sorry. And like, I just see it. It's the same as it ever was.
Yeah.
It's the same as it ever was. And even down to the point of like medical transition versus social transition. Like Luis talks about it wanting to change from a masculine features to feminine features. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I get that for you, doll. I get that for you. But like Louise is not being prescriptive. So she is not being like, hey, everyone needs to do this. She's saying, I want to do this. And that's so cool. And it's like, sure, same as it ever was. But also, there are people walking around these days putting up these categories, this criterion to be like, you can only be trans if you're X, Y, and Z. And to that, I say, who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you? And that's another thing is that, like, I have been blessed to be born at this time because I don't have to just fit into the binary for my safety. I mean, like, yes, I will always be safer if I fit into one or the other binary. And I think there are a lot of transsexual people who deal with that and struggle with that. But at the same time, for me, I've realized how no matter what situation I'm in, whatever gender I've taken or whatever sort of presentation that I end up taking, I am always in danger because I am queer. And there is no safe space, even if I become passing, right? So the goal is always, in my mind, it was never to be passing. It was never to take estrogen for so long that I am indiscernible from a man, or I'm indiscernible from a woman. I want to be gender fucky because I'm trying to signal to my fellow queer members, my fellow queer community, that I am queer. Not that I am a man or a woman. If I look confusing, good. You found the right person.
True.
Like, that's really what it boils down to. That has always been my zeitgeist. I'm like, I'm getting shit over here. I'm getting shit over there. What does the body need? The body needs to feel like she is a part of something.
Because you engage. Look, I'm not going to talk too much about your own personal experience, right? But from what I gather, so you engage with the political side of being queer.
Absolutely.
You're not just satisfied with the identity side of it.
No.
Or even the interpersonal side of it. We sit in a moment in time in which is transphobic and growing more so.
Yes.
And you're just like, I'm a gender fucky person. If you're looking for that, you found it.
You found her.
And to that I say,
yeah.
To that I say, yeah. I mean, I wasn't looking for more trans people to add to my life, but it just happens.
You reach a certain point, you cross a line, and then all of a sudden, all the trans people start popping out of the sewers and the windows.
At a certain point, I have to look at the mirror and say, "What's going on, Alex?"
Sorry.
What's going on?
You got
AP?
your queer card. It appears in your pocket. It's like a reverse tooth fairy. It appears under your bed once you do enough gay shit.
And so, like, I want to just read one more question here because once again, it's like same as it ever was, right?
Yep.
Vanguard says, "Are you a prostitute?" And Louis says, "No, I've never engaged in any prostitution." And I'm just like, what?
That's crazy because my sister asked me that question too.
Oh my God.
Like, that's the crazy part is that they're asking these same questions in the 60s. The heterosexual culture has not evolved.
Not at all. Not one
Still
bit.
stuck in their fucking ways of being like, oh, so it's a completely sexual thing. The only reason you want to change gender is because you're a sexual deviant. And that's all you really care about. Bitch, I'm ace. The last day... Sex can be tiring. Sex can be boring. The amount of boring sex that I've had. The amount of times that I have been smoking a cigarette hitting my little vape afterwards, and that motherfucker is still catching their breath is innumerable. The amount of times where it's been the opposite, I can count on maybe the instances, not even the partners, the instances that happen. I can count it on one hand.
Sure.
Like, it is not because I am less sexually inclined or I have a lower libido or I'm not enjoying myself or anything like that. But like, there is something about, and maybe this is the top in me, and maybe this is the service top more specifically in me, but there is something so empowering about somebody giving you control of a situation and you doing a damn good job. You doing the work until the very end. I mean, like, I have worked in manual labor and blue collar jobs all of my life. Those are the jobs that I find myself drawn to the most, simply because I love learning a process, a technique, doing my 1,000 hours and getting, you know, a level of expertise in something. And like, honestly, sex feels like a blue collar job. It feels like something that you practice and you get better at. And like, sooner or later, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. Here we go. Like, you put on your gloves and you get to fucking work.
Put on your steel-toed boots. You're about to have sex.
Wear protection. Wear protection always, guys. Okay? Put on your hard hat and your steel-toed boots. And
make sure you
on.
have PPE before you engage in coitus.
Yes. Yes. Very important.
It's just can't. I have never asked any person, are you a prostitute? I know sex workers.
Literally.
Like, at a certain point.
Also, shout out all sex workers. Y'all are doing the Lord's work.
The blue collar
Lord's work. That is also another blue collar job. I stand by it. I'm waiting for the prostitutes to make a union.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Teamsters to step in to represent the sex workers out there. Yes. And I've never asked that question of anyone, just because I don't know. I guess I honestly don't care about people's jobs. Yeah. Whether they're enlisted or... Yeah. And so like... But every single time someone has told me I have engaged in sex work, you know what I've done?
Cool.
Yeah. I've done like, all right.
Yeah.
Sure.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, do you want to talk about it more? Yes? No? Okay.
I have not said that ever, because
I'm a nosy bitch. I don't
want to know about your job. I want to know what you've seen or watched or eaten. I want to know about the conversations you've had. I want to know about some gossip. I don't care about your 9 to 5, even if that is 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Yep. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My thing is like, I love learning about what people do for a living and then them explaining why they do it for a living. I think that is what is actually more important to me. Don't give me the nitty-gritty details unless you really want to. Like, please tell me about your fuck-ass coworkers or your shitty boss or your really fun coworkers.
I'll listen to that gossip
gossip any day. But like
Alan... After I'm done rubbing that thing, tell me about some gossip.
Tell me about some gossip. Tell me what's going on, right? It can be work-related. It can be friend-related. It can be queer-related. It can be hetero-related. Like, it can be typical society shit. It can be something on the fringes or on the verge of something. Like, my thing is, like, I always want to know, especially when we're talking about sex work or when we're talking about situations where people are... truth be told, blue-collar jobs, doing dangerous work, doing things that whether hurt your body or may put you in peril. Why do you choose to do that thing? For me, like, I do a lot of blue-collar work. I've been a plumber. I've done drywall, I've done like drywall installation and renovation, painting. I've tiled shit. I've done a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Fixed laundry machines. I just fixed my AC today. Like,
sometimes I just lumberjack and sometimes you jack lumber.
Absolutely. Like,
and all that work is work. And yes, sex workers, just like every other worker, needs access to healthcare, access to vacation time. And you know what? To be able to tell their boss to fuck themselves. And I want to just go on and talk a little bit about the following question. Vanguard says, what are the laws involved? And Louis says, the operation is perfectly legal and no laws are broken. That's not true in 2026.
Not true in 2026.
In 2026, there are anti-trans laws all over the shit.
Made by
All over the barn.
because of a fucking bottom, Donald Trump. I will keep on talking about this. He is the most annoying gay person.
I don't engage with Donald Trump's gay shit just because like everything he is doing is perfectly heterosexual.
You would think that, but
I know that.
What he's doing behind closed doors, what he's doing out in the public, how he wants people to view himself,
But I
heterosexual.
hate this shit. I hate this shit so much. It's just another way of saying, oh, he's evil.
Yeah.
It's just another way of saying, oh, why? How could this? How could someone be so selfish and so evil? Oh, I know. They're gay.
Yeah.
No.
He's just an evil
Who has
bottom.
passed all the anti-gay laws? Heterosexuals.
Yes.
Who has passed all the anti-worker laws? Capitalists. Who has done all of the evil towards black people? Whites.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, he's just a part of, he is just another link in the chain that has garroted the world for literally centuries. Donald Trump isn't gay. If he was gay,
He's just the bottom.
he would dress better.
He would dress better. He would dress so much better.
If he was gay, being gay doesn't mean you care about a fucking ballroom.
Yep.
There's plenty of evil. Robert Moses, who destroyed New York and eviscerated millions of black people, wasn't gay.
He's just a piece of shit.
He was just another white guy doing the things that white guys do, which is immiserate black people and also be like, oh, but I'm doing it in an artistic way. Oh, there's a functionality to it. I hate the Donald Trump, his gay jokes so much.
I mean, like, even
when homosexuals and queers do it, I hate it because it's. I'm looking at the same dude as everyone else, and I am thinking of the colonnades and palisades that the fuck ass Romans did. I think about
And they were fucking each other in the ass.
Thomas Jefferson, who created Monticello and who created the University of Virginia, and it has all of these fancy little buildings. Not just a heterosexual, but a fucking rapist, just like Donald Trump.
A rapist and an imperialist through and through. I mean, that's why the fucking White House is so gaudy now, is because imperialism is on the bracket. Trump wants to be God Emperor or whatever the hell he wants to call himself. He's using AI to Photoshop himself as Jesus and all this kind of stuff. And like, the problem is that, truth be told, even though we have so much information to consume about these things, people do not have the education in critical thinking to be able to discern these different situations and these problems that you're saying, like, hey, buddy, Donald Trump can say whatever he wants. You got to look at what he's doing and then think for yourself. Turn your TV off. Stop watching Fox News. Stop scrolling on Instagram or what are they? You know what? It's like the Sears Tower. I call it Twitter. You know, it's not X. It's Twitter to me. It's not the Willis Tower or whatever the fuck. It's like it's the Sears Tower. It's Twitter.
It's just, there's also like a reality. There is literal evil gay people out there.
Yes.
Like Sam Altman exists.
Oh my God.
Like you don't have to invent homosexuality somewhere it doesn't exist just to be able to point at something and say it's evil.
That's true.
You don't have to do that.
Because there's a plethora of other reasons. Trump has imperialism, capitalism, fascism, all of these different forms of control.
Or how about he's just an asshole? That's it.
I think he's just a rich fucking asshole.
Before engaging in ideological positions, he is just an asshole. And I'm sorry for, like, I don't mean to jump on down your throat in the way that you brought it up, but there's a reason why we're doing the Queerdos miniseries.
Yeah.
Because queerness is no longer a thing that is rising in acceptance. It is, what it is just is another thing that is being enveloped by capital. So it becomes less toothy, less bristly, and is shaven down to a point where it can just be anything else. It could just be anything. Oh, why is Donald Trump the way that he is? Oh, he's blonde.
Yep.
Oh, he's a man.
Yep.
Oh, what? Why is anybody anything? Oh, it's because of their hair color. It's because of their sexual presentation. No, it's not that. I refuse that. I might not be able to tell you at a high level what queerness means to me, but I can tell you what it doesn't mean to me.
There you go.
And it does not mean a continuance of the horror that heterosexual white men, Christians, have done onto this country and this world for the last 450 years. It is not that in any way, no matter the packaging, no matter the color of the hair dye. It is not that.
And that's the crazy part too, is that like, you're telling me Jesus, who is like, I love everybody. You should love everybody. He had 12 dudes following him around. That's a polycule team. That's his personal polycule of 12 dudes who listen to whatever he says. He's the dom. Everybody else is doing stuff. Judas is the one who wasn't communicating and ratted everybody out. Like,
now this I can get behind.
Yes, thank you.
Jesus being gay and the 12 disciples being gay.
Oh my God.
I'll eat that shit for Sunday morning right after my cornflakes, right after busting a rope and before heading out to Sunday school.
But yes, pray to gay Jesus. Make sure you think about him taking each of them while they're on their knees, praying to him, right? Kissing his feet and his hands. Okay, his best friend was a sex worker.
All right.
Judas was probably his boy. Okay, I'll stop.
And Timis, with that, we have a final moment here,
right,
in Dove Weather. We have a moment where we talk about what's bringing us hope or any positive emotions. So, Timis, what is bringing you hope these days?
Man, it can be a little difficult, but there's so much going on. There is so much to be consumed. There is so much to be worried about. There is so much to be, caught up on and understood and everything like that. And the biggest thing for me is that, like, despite it all, I have been able to, in the queer community especially, I've been able to find people who see me for who I am in a way that isn't just physical. It comes down to an emotional and a spiritual and a deep cognitive understanding of where I'm coming from. And seeing those queer teens today talk about all those things, I am thinking about the exact same things as a queer person, right? I was thinking about those exact same things when I was a little queer teen. You know what I mean? Like, there is hope. I have hope for the kids. I know the kids are going to be all right. I know that they're going to go through and they're going to fight the same battles that we're fighting and that they are being led on the right path. I think there is such a level, especially now, as kids are growing up, in the United States especially, kids are growing up in these times. I think there's going to be, you see this sort of turn towards fascism and everything like that. The kickback from this is going to be insane. We are going to flip in a way that is unprecedented. Just as much as this moment is unprecedented, we're going to kick back into a place where I asked, like, they had a talk back afterward and they were like, oh, do we have any questions from the audience or anything? And I introduced myself and I just asked a very simple question. I was like, what are you guys looking forward to? And all of them perked up. They're like, shit's crazy, but like, I wanted to go to school and become I want to join the military and I want to become a jet plane fighter, like a fighter jet plane, a pilot. I want to become a pilot. And someone's like, I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a historian. I'm like, yes.
I do love that one kid was like, even I might be able to bomb the Gazans.
Like, oh my God. She was wearing hijab. It was okay. It's okay. She was being funny about it. Like, it was so heartwarming to know. And I think that's also why I stand so firmly in my position, knowing that like I'm not that old. AP, you don't even think I'm an adult yet. You still think
I think you're an adult.
You put young in front of it. Like
yeah, of course. I think
but
you're
like,
a young adult.
There was like a final exercise where it's like the audience was all given sticky notes, and it's like write something that you want to put so that these kids can look at it later. Like things that we have to do as adults for our queer teens. And the thing that I put down was like, I need to be a good example of a queer adult. As a queer elder, I need to set a good example for these kids so that they can know that like whether or not shit stays dicey or it gets better or anything like that, that like we can make it. Whether it be the 60s, whether it be 2026, we are always here. We have always been here, and we will continue to be here no matter what.
Wonderful. Beautiful. I'm with you on that. We might, and in 60 years, in 2086,
When we're old and craggedy.
when I am a tia encarna, we will be here. We'll continue to be here. And we'll be here till the last human ever walks the earth.
It'll probably be a queer person.
I
hope so.
It'll probably be me. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And so I know that is bringing you hope. What's bringing me hope is the live show that at the time of release will be the next day. We'll be recording on May 26th at Elastic Arts at 6:30 p.m. doors, 7 p.m. show. It will be a big one. It'll be one for the history
Doing your big
books.
Doing your big one.
And I hope to see you there, listener. And if not, I'll catch you on the next one. And if not, I'll catch you in hell. And but before then, before I reach the inferno, you can see all the sin that I will be committing along with my co-host Marcy on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and every podcast platform you can think of, and even the ones you don't even know about, all at Dove Weather. Thank you so much for listening, and Timis, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, AP.
Bye.
Bye.